And then I see a police car driving by. And I just see the police just looking at us. And they keep driving. Like, dude, there is a guy laying in the floor who's still unconscious. Now, as I grow up, I'm no longer scared of gangsters. Maybe when I was a kid I was, but now I'm more scared of having a government that can have control of your life. I had a really strong experience just 1 year ago. I had a really bad accident. I was driving out of a club and I was driving with two more friends in my car, and I always drive super careful after 3 a.m. because nothing good happens after 3 a.m. So I was driving super slow. I had a big car. It was a Jeep, super safe. And then in a red light, it was green. I slowed down because I didn't know what was coming. I looked around and I just see a sports car speeding like crazy. A sports car coming right at me. I was like, oh, okay, bye. I just felt the crash. I just felt the guy hitting me. I flipped. My Jeep flipped. Like, it was a really, really bad accident. My Jeep flipped. The other car just went in the sidewalk. It was destroyed as well. And then I just remember coming out. First, I tried to pull people out of the car, right? Because one of my friends was stuck in the back of the car. I managed to get her out. We were fine. Nothing happened to me or my two passengers. But in the other car, there was a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood. There were 3 people in the car. That was a sports car for 2. So in the passenger side, there were 2 people sitting one on top of each other. And the guy that was sitting on top of the girl in the passenger seat, he was wrecked, man. His face was full of blood. He was hurt, like, really bad. And the driver as well, he was hit really bad. You know, the whole situation gets bad. People is yelling, screaming. It's 4 a.m. in the morning. There is a lot of blood. I asked my friend, like, are you okay? And she tells me, yeah, I know the driver. And I'm like, do you? Yeah, I was with him in the club. And I'm like, who is he? She's like, he's a congressman. Is he? I was like, okay. And then I just waited. There is actually a video online of the whole accident because a person passing by was recording everything. And finally, I don't see the driver. The driver was not there anymore. And I was like, you know, my car was upside down. It was totally upside down. But the other car was not. It was okay. I saw that there were the 2 people from the passenger side. One of them was unconscious. The other girl was trying to get conscious. She was still laying, bleeding from her face. But the driver was not there. And I was like, I was so shocked that at some point I started thinking, was there even 3 people? Was I hallucinating? Because I'm just seeing 2. And then I asked my friend, like, what happened to the guy? She's like, oh, he left. So then I don't know. I started getting confused. You know, the whole situation is so stressful at that moment. I had my 2 friends here. One guy that was unconscious, dying on the floor. The other girl was just yelling. They were drunk. They were making such a big drama. She was fighting. They were trying to wake up the guy that was unconscious and telling him to go home. How would you take that guy bleeding from his face and just laying in the floor to go home, right? And I was just, looking at the whole situation and be like, okay, you cannot do anything at that point. You have to wait. Yeah, waited. We were in the center of the city. It was the center of San Salvador. There is 3 hospitals just 2 blocks away from where we were. We called the police 4 times. Nobody came. For 4 hours, I waited there. The press came before the police. The ambulance didn't arrive, not even in 4 hours. Being so close from hospitals, nobody came to the scene. And I was like, what is this? When is the police gonna finally come? Then I see it was 7 a.m. already, man. 7 a.m., people started going to work. You start seeing cars passing by, people recording us in the whole situation. And then I see a police car driving by. And I just see the police just looking at us. And they keep driving. Like, dude, there is a guy laying in the floor who's still unconscious. What's happening? And then the press was there, they were recording everything. My family was telling me, like, we don't know what's gonna happen, you should go to the hospital. And the 2 girls that were with me, their mom picked them up, but the other 2 people, they were still there. The girl that was unconscious, and then the guy that was laying on the floor. And I go to the hospital, and they tell me that as soon as I left, police finally arrived a few minutes later. So then they wanted to get my version of the story, right? So then the police came to the hospital, asked me all the questions, and they asked me like how many people were in the other car. And I was like, I swear there were 3. And they were like, but we only found 2 people. Like, yeah, but I swear there were 3 people. So when I said that there were 3 people, something was odd in the report that it couldn't allow them to match it to the right story. While I was in the hospital, they tell me that the guy that was laying on the floor, he died. So he had died, and the other girl was in a coma. Nothing happened to me. I was safe. Not a broken bone, not a single scratch, nothing. The girls that were with me, a little bit hurt, but nothing like really bad. So when I was at home, social media, man, just starts going crazy with the videos of the accident. They were starting to find out who were the drivers, where are the drivers. And this is something I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but I'm gonna say it. When I was there, when my parents were there, a police car came by trying to pick up all the stuff from the crime scene. They started getting the guns, and they found the passport. My dad managed to see the passport before they picked it up. And the passport was from the congressman. And the police came to take all his things. And we were like, what are you doing? My dad came to them and told them, like, what are you doing? Why are you picking up this proof of the crime scene? He's like, no, that's okay, no worries. Just let me do my job. And then my dad started taking pictures of him. The guys left the things back where they were, because my dad was there recording what they were doing. So they were actually trying to hide anything that showed who was the driver. The gun, his passport, the bottles of alcohol. And then my dad told me, hey, I think this is something serious, because you just got involved in an accident with someone from the government. And that's where the whole connection starts. Like, corruption? Are you even safe in El Salvador when you have the police against you and the whole country trying to make it look as if I was the one guilty? They were trying to make me the guilty one so they didn't have to go after the congressman. So they were trying to say that I was the one drunk, that I was the one who missed the red light. But it was nothing like that. The passport was there. There was a picture from the passport that the press released saying, we found this passport in the crime scene. And they shoot it in social media, in Twitter, man. Twitter started going crazy. It's like, the congressman was the drunk man. He was driving. And all the social media going against the congressman, like tagging him in everything. And then I received a call from the guy. I didn't answer it. How I knew it was the guy? Because my friend told me that she had given him my phone number so he could talk to me. I didn't know what the fuck he wanted, but I didn't want anything to do with him. And I don't want to be part of this mess. He tweeted right at that moment. I was not driving, and that was not my car. I left my passport because that was my friend's car, but it has nothing to do with me. He tweeted that, and I was like, okay, man, this is gonna get bad for me. This is gonna get, because who are you gonna blame? There gotta be someone to blame if someone just died in an accident. I talked to my lawyer, and he tells me that I should hide, that I had to find a safe house and go somewhere, because this guy and the police are gonna try to incriminate me. And you gotta hide right now. And then while I was packing and running away, there was a video released showing his face, and he was talking to the camera saying stupid shit. He was drunk. It showed him obviously drunk. He tried to pull out his friend from the car in the video. He tries to pull him out. He lets him fall on the floor, and his head hits the floor. His head starts bleeding out. That is all shown in the video. And at that moment, it incriminates him for killing this guy, because he moved the guy. He was, 1, driving drunk. 2, had a gun, had alcohol in his car, had just crashed someone else, which was me, and had just killed someone. Man, that's a lot of bad things that can happen to you as a congressman, right? He deleted the tweet saying that he was not driving because the video was already online, right? My lawyer tells me, okay, you gotta go hide. Even there is a video proving that it was not you, you gotta go hide. So I left home. I went to a safe house that my parents found for me, really remote area, just trying to stay away from the press, from the police, and from anything that can try to incriminate me. Because the lawyer told me that police can still play with the statement if they want to. So I have to hide until the statement was officially released. The congressman eventually accepted he was driving in Twitter, but he said he was not drinking. He was sober. He tried to not blame himself for what he was doing, and the police was helping him to do that. I came out, and the police called me, and they're like, okay, we need your statement again. We need you to come to the police station. And the lawyer came with me to police statement. We did the police statement. We talked to the judge. You know, everything was clear. He was the driver, but they couldn't prove if he was drunk. The police didn't get to the crime scene after 4 hours. They got his alcohol test 2 days later, 3 days later after the accident. How can you get an alcohol test after 3 days? Obviously it's gonna come negative, man. So they did that, and they used the alcohol test of 3 days later to say that he was not drunk. And that was the whole thing. The case was closed. That's it. He was not drunk. You're gonna do anything. Why you didn't save the guy that was unconscious in the floor bleeding out? Why the congressman with such a high power didn't send an ambulance to save his friend? Why he had to run away? Why he wanted to incriminate me? Corruption is part of our culture. And you cannot disagree, because you get in trouble.